0.73. He's been kind to be with us frequently here in the last number of days. He had a single sentence out yesterday, which got my attention. Where's the next bond deal? I'm paraphrasing. Robert Schiffman joins us, owning the high ground of tech, NVIDIA, and credit as well. How do you fold NVIDIA into your research?
Well, if you don't mind, the most important news of the day for me is today is my mother's 90th birthday.
There you go.
So if I just do a quick shout out
happy
and
birthday
say,
to your mom.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mommy. I love you. Thank you so much for everything.
I never
stay
enjoyed
bullish.
this. This is just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
So NVIDIA, that's in the news
Does she
too.
still give you grief? Does she give it right back to you?
She gives much more love than she does grief. And
Okay,
I
unlike when you
appreciate
were
every
What a
minute
good
of it.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Good job.
Very good. So tell us here about, the credit thing. I'm waiting for bond deals to come out. How does NVIDIA fold into the Schiffman Bloomberg Intelligence landscape?
Well, let's just take a look at what happened yesterday. Like, for everybody that's calling for the apocalypse, NVIDIA is continuing to prove that, there is so much demand for AI product out there. And we're just starting to see the beginnings of it. They're just building it, right? We're not seeing all the benefits of it yet. NVIDIA numbers were mind-blowingly good. And I would continue to point to, pull any BI equity analyst from our tech group in here and show me one print that they didn't like this quarter for any of these names. So I think the doomsdayers, listen, bad news sells. You can write a lot of articles about, the world blowing up in a few years and robots taking over. But I just don't believe it.
But how about we just had the prior guest talking about the risk to software and software, whether it's a Salesforce.com or whatever, but software as a service. Boy, this AI, we don't fully understand it. We don't have a great comprehension, but you can certainly spin a yarn where it takes over the world. And if I'm a software service provider, holy cow, I mean, what's the risk to my business? And I think that's what the investors are selling the stocks today and asking questions later.
Sure, well, they are. Listen, the world is filled with winners and losers. Everyone's not going to be successful here. Just take a look at USA Hockey. Like, we continue to dominate the Canadians, men and women's. Congratulations, shout out there too. In my world, which is big cap investment grade tech, I think they're all winners. As we start going down the scale and getting to smaller companies, in particular high yield software, I think there's going to be a lot of losers. There's been a tremendous amount of money lent to these companies with hopes that free cash flow over time is going to blow up. And in fact, that may or may not happen. And valuations are probably going to get weaker, but I don't think it's going to affect the big guys. And I think that the winners that we're seeing here are proving that they're winners. Like, whether it's Meta or Amazon or Alphabet, Microsoft, they're doing it in different ways. And we can debate about equity valuations. I will tell you, I continue to point to, look at the Bloomberg high grade index. We're as tight as we ever were. Okay, maybe we're 5 beeps wider this year. For all the world that has been crying about how many bonds are going to be coming this year, we've seen 2 big deals. I know. Right? We saw an Alphabet deal and we saw an Oracle deal. Where's the rest of the trillions of dollars of debt that we thought we were going to see? So listen, if you go down the scale and you look at a subsector of software, they're getting beat up right now. My guess is, just as a big credit guy, it's probably overdone because people like beating things up. And again, you sell first, ask questions later.
So when you talk to your friends on the street, are we going to get some more tech paper coming down this year, do you think?
I do. I still think there's still some of the big guys that are left. Meta's still left. I think Amazon's going to come back again. I also think we're going to see deals from Microsoft and Apple. So super high quality, but it's more of because they're building financial flexibility versus they really have to.
So with all your experience, Microsoft has 3.3% debt, $101 billion. I mean, what's their bandwidth right now? Do you look at them and go, they could do $50 billion in 6 phone calls? Or is it less than that? I mean, is there a max bandwidth they can test right now?
They don't need to test their bandwidth. Their bandwidth is as big as they want it to be. The reality is they just don't need as much money as you think that they can take down. Just because it's there, you don't necessarily get it.
Should they do a debt deal to retire equity, to become like Apple and just do a religious buyback model for equity?
In general, that's what all these companies sort of do. They just do it a lot slower than you want. What you're going to start to see, I actually think, is the other way around. You're going to see companies pull back on some of their shareholder returns and use some of that excess capital for their AI investments.
Really?
Part of that is because they boosted up CapEx so much. That also, by the way, we've actually been part of this train that's been talking about so much AI CapEx spending. Our numbers are now over $4 trillion through 2030. I actually think we might be too aggressive. What we're starting to hear, this concept of front loading, right? We heard that out of Meta yesterday with talking about their deal with AMD. They might be spending as much money as they physically can today, and they might not have to spend as much money 2 or 3 years out.
How do you respond to this? We got to get to Michael Barr here, but Robert Schiffman, we had Huntington Bank, Columbus,
Yes.
Ohio,
Yep.
had a wonderful gentleman from Huntington Bank. He says the electricians in Central Ohio don't know what to do with the explosion of their business because of these data centers. I mean, your world filters into everyone, right?
If I had to do it all again, I wouldn't be a fixed income analyst. I'd be a plumber. There's a lot of hands-on jobs that are going to be needed in this whole AI world, and these AI data center builds, they're absolutely monstrous. So I do agree with that. There's so many of these secondary and tertiary businesses that are going to be benefiting. Again, I think we have to start looking more at the bright side and the upside than constantly being doomsdayers.
Robert Schiffman, thank you so much, and our kindest regards
And he's
to
a bond
the
analyst.
Schiffman family. I mean, just absolutely wonderful.